dígame.
Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to have you as our guest from Cartagena. So, the purpose of this class is to share with you what we are used to doing in the course of English literature. So, my partner is going to explain you an activity so that you can, so that we can break the ice before doing the PowerPoint presentation.
Ya empezamos a las 10, ya no vamos a hacer otra cosa.
Okay, what we are going to do now is that there are two sides, false and true, and we are going to show you some statements, and you have to stand up and move to the side you consider is the right. It is true or false, right? Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so please stand up. So the first one is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland is the full name of UK. Is it true or false? What do you think?
The ones who believe that it is false run to the left side, and the ones that believe that it's true run to the right side. We are going to discuss the answers, don't worry.
Okay. Actually, this is true. This is the full name of the United Kingdom of Great Britain, but we usually just use UK or United Kingdom, but it's true. It's the full name. So the next one. Great Britain comprises countries such as England, Scotland, Wales, and North Ireland. Is it true or false? Okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is false. You are all wrong, guys. These countries that you see here are the ones are those who conform the United Kingdom, not the Great Britain, sino
But
the
we
United
are going to
Kingdom.
explain it a bit later.
Mala comprensión de
Yeah.
Sí.
Queen Elizabeth II has visited over 115 countries despite not having a passport. Is it true or false?
Yes.
Yeah, she's one of the. Yeah.
She has the privilege.
Yes. Exactly.
She can do.
Is this the flag of England?
Run to the left side. I don't know.
It's false, yes, because the flag is white with a red cross. So, is the author of Harry Potter J.K. Rowling from the UK? Yes, of course. She was born in England. Yes. Okay, thank you for the camera. Okay, this is for you to make clear one of the statements that we saw before. The UK is conformed by Scotland, England, Wales, and North Ireland. It means all the islands that we see here are the United Kingdom. But Great Britain is just the big island that we see here. That is Scotland, England, and Wales. So it's just for you to bear that in mind. So we are going to talk about a brief history of British people. So I suggest you to take some notes because we are going to do some activities related to the topic that we are going to see now. So let's begin. First of all, it's important to say that British people were good sailors and fishmen, because as you know, they live in an island, so they were good sailors and fishmen. The first people that lived there were called Prisected people, and they came from the north of Europe. They were not only one community. They were many tribes that shared almost the same traditions, culture, and language. They were Pits, Britons, and Gaels. And they practice what we call paganism. So they believe in witches, wizards, demons, and spiritual forces. So here we have a fun fact. Can somebody help me reading, please?
Halloween is a feast that did come from the Celtic culture, since they were the ones who celebrated the pagan deities or spiritual forces.
Spiritual forces. We thought that Halloween came from the United States, but actually it's a Celtic culture. It came from the Celtic culture because, as what I said before, they practice paganism and they believe in those things. What happened is that at that time they believed on November the 1st, they celebrated the end of the summer and the beginning of the cold winter, and cold winter was related to death. So they believed that the night before, the line between living and death became blurred. And also, with the arriving of Christianity, on November the 1st was designated as the Day of All Saints. So it was called the Whole Eve. So over the time, it changed into Halloween. Okay. After Prisected people, the Roman Empire arrived in Great Britain, and they brought the culture, the language, the customs, and a few times later, the Roman Empire was being defeated by the Visigoths. So they left Great Britain, but lost the culture, as I said, the language still remains. And also Romans changed the name of Britannia into Britons. After the Roman left, there was a great migration of people that came from the north of Europe, specifically from Germany. So these tribes were the Angles, the Jews, and Saxons, and they also brought the language, the customs, the culture, and they brought something important. Well, this happened around the 410 and 450 in the Common Era, and they brought the language called Old English.
Okay. Well, guys, from this point forward, I'm going to tell you some important facts about the Old English language. So, first of all, we need to know what Old English is. So, I want you to know if somebody has heard about this language before. No? Okay. So, the Old English language was spoken in England from 450 to 1100 AD, and was also called the Anglo-Saxon language, because the people who used this language was the Anglo-Saxons who came to England from what is now Denmark and Germany. So the Old English language is very different from the modern English language, and it was readily written at that time, but when written, it was written in runes. Do you know what runes are? Yes? Okay. So, I'm going to show you some words in Old English so that you can get familiarized with the words. So, the first one is pronounced Wesha, and it is used to, when we want to greet somebody, so it means hello, okay? Wesha. The second one is pronounced Neze. So as you could hear, the letter S is pronounced with a Z sound, Neze. And it is used when we want to refuse to do something. It means know, okay? The third one is easy to guess. It means welcome, and it is pronounced in the way it is written, okay? And the last one, it is used when we want to express surprise. So it means what, and it is pronounced how what, okay? How what. Now we brought you the Lord's Prayer in Old English so that you can get familiarized with the pronunciation, the correct pronunciation of the Old English.
Yo siempre dice menudo pelado el sábado pesado. Me puse a escuchar música con ellos primero, mientras esperábamos que era la hora del sábado. Y una niña conectó Bluetooth con el parlante. Y no lo desconectó, y cuando yo iba a hacer listening no me conectaba a mí, no importa. Me conectó media hora. Que Esther, ¿me conectaste a tu Bluetooth? Que hay fichas, yo no sé, no revisa. Era que la veladita la tenía conectada también.
Okay, I'm going to.
Fader Urre, du det ert åt heavenum, si dina nome je halgjot, to bekomme din rike, je worse dina wille, on ersan swaswa on heavenum. Urne je dag kwamle tjene gelave, sulle us todai, and forgive us, ura gultas, swaswa we forgive us, urum gultendom. And nei je leder du us on kostnodje, ak alys us of uvele. Susritje.
So, what do you think? It is difficult or easy? It's pretty difficult because it is close to Old German. It has many Germanic words, so it is difficult to understand it because of that fact. Okay. In this period, or in the 5th century, it is important to highlight one of the most famous epic poems that belong to English literature. And this poem is called Beowulf and was written in Old English. But before it was written in Old English, it was passed down through oral tradition from generation to generation and was recited from memory with lyre or harp. Also, it is important to say that this poem has been told in different ways. in books, in plays, in films. And these movies had made some changes based on the plot. So the one that we saw in class was the movie that was released in 2007 and starring Angelina Jolie. That was the one we saw in class.
Well, here in the epic poem we can find some elements like fire, water, and land. And that's why the characters, for example, Grendel represent the land. As they were originally Germans, the word German means land, so that's why they love their land, they are really good to their land. And Grendel's mother represents the water. It is a vital element in the Anglo-Saxon warrior farmer that also represent something dangerous that it is not controlled. And the dragon in the poem represents the fire and the power.
Okay? Well, the English language that we know and we use today has been influenced or has been changing from by different historical events that my partner mentioned before, and that occurred or took place after or before the 5th century and after the 5th century. And also because of new trades and new invasions that were brought by people who came to Great Britain. So let's have a look at some of the words that came from the Latin language, the Germanic language, the French language, and the Greek language. So in the first set of words, we have human, natural, dental. We also have animal, science, digital, and they all came from the Latin language. Okay? In the second set of words, we have house, above, again, good, bad, boy, girl, arm, hand, and also feet and apple, and they all came from the Germanic language. In the third group, we have journey, liberty, justice, beef, pork, berry, and people, and they all came from the French language. And in the last group, we have basic, cinema, climate, democracy, economy, and all the academic words came from the Greek language.
Okay, now we need you to divide into 5 groups. Five groups, and look for one of the posters that has the 4 languages. Please stand up.
Okay, you're about to participate.
Okay. You will be given a word bank. So what you have to do is to locate the words into the right language.
To put the words in their correct categories. Okay?
Brando. Here with the guesses, please. So you have 5 minutes to do the activity.
Me va a tirar el televisor.
The word basic is from the Greek language.
As we do have the time to watch the movie, you will be given a summary about the epic poem. Yeah, the epic poem. What you have to do is to read, and then you will retell the story of Beowulf using some drawings. So
You are going to making some drawings on the cardboard material.
you will have 15 minutes to read and
Alright, so here are our drawings. The first one is Grendel killing people. That's the main reason why Bill came to this land, so that he could get some honor by killing this monster that was threatening with the villagers' lives. Then, with the ship in which Beowulf and his crew came. And this drawing here is a Beowulf with the head of Grendel's mother. Of Grendel. Yes, so this is Grendel's head and this is Beowulf. And then we have the dragon, that it's a bit later in the story. And it's supposed to be Beowulf too, with his crown, yeah, his sword, ready to fight the dragon. So that's like a really abstract summary of the story.
okay, thank you. Let's go with the second one.
Why don't they guess? Yeah, why don't they guess? I would take the word.
They were there.
Okay.
What we wanted to show here was the battle between Grendel and Beowulf, right? It was the first battle in which Beowulf couldn't defeat, right, the monster because the swords could not hurt it, right? So that's basically what we wanted to show here.
There.
Well, we couldn't finish our drawing, but I like to at least express what we try to do here. Well, this is the land of Europe, and here we can see the terrible beast Grendel, and you can see a really big and terrible beast. And in the story it says that in that moment, Beowulf was sailing to this place to combat with Grendel. So that's the only thing.
And the last group.
Okay. And the first thing that we draw was a ship that makes the arrival of the hero, Beowulf, to the land and to fight the monster Grendel. And here he cuts off the arm of the monster, and then he fights the mother and takes her head. And the last battle is with the dragon, but unfortunately he also dies because of the poison of the dragon. And this is, well, it was supposed to be the funeral pyre, but it is more like a fire. But that's it.
Okay, thank you, Liz.